It all started because I moved slightly while posing as a model for my boyfriend's painting. Without hesitation, he used tape to bind and restrain me. After 7 years together, my boyfriend had been devoted to creating a sense of ceremony for me, carefully working to complete 1,000 little things with me as a couple. On our 7th anniversary, we only had one final thing left to do. But instead of focusing on that, my boyfriend asked me to help his first love instead. Because of this, the 2-month-old child in my womb lost its life. Laura, we'll have more children. Jessica's competition's success or failure hinges on this one time. You need to be more magnanimous. I said nothing as I tore up the last unfinished item on our list. We had promised that once we completed those 1,000 little things, we would get married. That promise would never be fulfilled now. I picked up my phone and canceled the wedding dress that was still being custom made. Laura, you need to understand the bigger picture. I know it wasn't easy for you to conceive this child, but if you take care of yourself, we still have a chance to have a child, right? But think about it, Jessica has been waiting for this competition for so long. It hasn't been easy for her either. Ethan Hawke stood beside the hospital bed, trying to persuade me with soft words. I placed my hands over my stomach, my heart as bleak as death. I had suffered complications from donating bone marrow to Ethan, which made it hard for me to conceive. Now, after this miscarriage, it might be nearly impossible to have a child again. Seeing that I remained silent, Ethan's brows furrowed. Laura, what do you mean by not speaking? Are you still blaming Jessica? Why are you so stubborn? I helped her because she saved my life. You should understand my good intentions. Can't you be reasonable? In my other hand, I clutched a few pieces of paper tightly. They were the promises Ethan had made to me before we started dating. Once we completed 1,000 tasks together, we would get married. And the final task was the proposal. It was meant to happen on our 7th anniversary. But instead, he killed our child and destroyed my love. Ethan, what if I can't get pregnant anymore? He clearly paused. It won't happen. After 7 years, you still got pregnant. Who knows when it might happen again? And if it doesn't, we can try IVF, medication, or surgery. I smiled. He didn't care at all about my pain. He wanted Jessica Pierce to succeed. And he wanted me to bear his children. What about me? Ethan let out a deep sigh, his expression filled with frustration. Can't you stop being so selfish? What's wrong with making some sacrifices for me and the children? Even if it's for Jessica's sake, it's only right. Without her, I wouldn't be here today. You should be grateful to her. Besides, she's not even competing with you. She's doing it for the greater good. What else are you dissatisfied with? I slowly closed my eyes. I couldn't believe these words were coming from this man. When had he become so despicable? Seeing that I didn't respond, Ethan nodded in satisfaction. As long as you understand, Laura. Don't worry, I'll make up for the 7th anniversary and that last thing. Just trust me. He reached out and ruffled my hair. But I felt no trace of affection in his touch. As silence fell between us, a message notification chimed from Ethan's phone. He stared at me for a long moment. Then, with a hint of guilt in his voice, he said, Laura, I have some work to attend to at the company. I won't be able to stay with you tonight. You need someone by your side. If anything happens, make sure to call the nurse. I nodded silently. Ethan gave a faint smile before striding out of the ward. That night, I received a message from Jessica. It was a photo of Ethan, leaning over a table, his face very close to the camera. Chapter 2. The lights were dim and he slept peacefully. Laura, he seems more relaxed with me than with you. He was lying. I couldn't even count how many times he had lied just to go see Jessica. All I could remember were the photos Jessica kept sending me on my phone. He thought he was a good actor, but the truth was I simply didn't want to expose him. I just wanted to preserve the beautiful dream of our love. Now I realize I was wrong. I tapped into another chat window. The custom wedding dress stopped the progress. I'll pay the money, but don't make it. For 3 consecutive days, Ethan didn't show up at the hospital. Only the bouquets he sent arrived. They were red roses. I covered my nose and asked the medical staff to take them away. I'm allergic to pollen. I told him that long before we were ever together. But he never took it seriously. Over the past 7 years, I've had allergic reactions dozens of times just to accept his flowers. Today, I looked at the photo Jessica posted on her updates Insta story. It was a bouquet of red roses. The caption read, "Someone will always remember your favorite flowers." On the day I was discharged from the hospital, Ethan brought Jessica along to pick me up. When he saw me, the first thing he did was glance at my hands, as if looking for something. Where are the flowers I gave you? Didn't you used to keep them for a month before throwing them away? I turned my face away, expressionless. They've withered. Our love had withered. Ethan stepped forward and patted my shoulder, trying to comfort me. It's okay, Laura. Don't blame yourself or feel sad. I'll buy you more flowers later. Jessica also stepped forward and held my hands. That's right, Laura. Ethan is very thoughtful. Plus, he specially came to pick you up so we could go to the art exhibition together. My painting won an award and it's all thanks to Laura. She deliberately emphasized the words thanks to. I'm not feeling well. I don't want to go. Ethan let out a heavy sigh, his voice tinged with impatience. Laura, you're always like this, ruining the mood. It's so hard for Jessica to win an award. What's wrong with you just enduring it? Jessica's eyes turned red and she spoke softly, It's okay, Ethan. If Laura doesn't want to go, she doesn't have to. I know she's been dwelling on the fact that her hand is injured and can't paint anymore. It must be really tough for her. Ethan scoffed. It's just jealousy. I bit my lip and forced a bitter smile. I'll go. When I arrived at the venue, I realized Jessica and Ethan were wearing matching evening gowns and suits. To the outside world, they looked like a perfect couple. Ethan's eyes never once fell on me. Instead, his gaze followed Jessica the entire time. Footsteps approached from behind and several journalists rushed forward, trying to get an interview with Jessica. I was pushed to the ground. Ethan took a half step forward, as if he was going to help me up. He paused for a moment, then stepped back. He gave me a look, signaling me not to make a scene. Miss Pierce, we often see Mr. Hawk accompanying you to various events. May I ask what your relationship is? Jessica's face turned slightly red as she gave a shy smile. Our relationship has always been very good. That ambiguous answer led everyone to assume they were a couple. Ethan didn't deny it. He just kept casting glances at me, clearly afraid I would ruin Jessica's interview. The two of you seem like a perfect match. Everyone praised them. I stood in the corner, clutching my stomach in pain, cold sweat pouring down my face. Chapter 3 Ethan noticed that I was uncomfortable. His gaze lingered for only a second before shifting away. After the event ended, he quickly walked over to me. Laura, are you feeling unwell? Can you hold on a little longer? There's a celebration banquet for Jessica later and all our friends will be there. If I refused to go, he would probably accuse me of not considering the bigger picture. Before I could say anything, Ethan continued, Laura, I knew you'd be the most understanding. Don't worry, after this, I'll ask Auntie to make you some extra food to help you recover. When we entered the private room, their friends were already inside, waiting. As soon as they saw Jessica, they all started clapping. Congratulations to our great artist for winning the award. When they noticed me following behind, the atmosphere shifted. Their voices softened. Oh, Laura is here too. I remembered 7 years ago, when I won my last award, Ethan had also asked his friends to clap for me. Soon after that, I was mysteriously kidnapped and my wrists were permanently damaged. I smiled, treating their words as a polite greeting. Jessica, what's with your outfit? Is this intentional? One friend teased excitedly. Ethan motioned for him to stop talking. He looked at me with a cautious expression. Laura, he's just joking. It's just a coincidence. I pretended not to understand. What? Ethan paused, then shook his head. But how could I not know? That dress was part of the most popular couples series at the time. It was called Red Rose. Everyone started chatting again and began urging me to drink. They all knew I had just lost a child and yet they still encouraged me to drink. Laura, have a drink. It won't hurt you. Today's such a happy day. I waved my hand. Ethan turned his head, his brows slightly furrowed. Laura, it's rare for everyone to gather like this, and it's also Jessica's award ceremony. Don't be such a killjoy, okay? Do I need to remind you about the bigger picture? The doctor had clearly told him I wasn't supposed to have alcohol or spicy food right now. I looked down at the bowl of spicy food in front of me. Then I picked up my glass and drank it all in one gulp. Seeing me drink, Ethan's expression softened slightly. Almost immediately, pain flared in my lower abdomen. I staggered to the bathroom. No one followed me. I threw up in heavy gulps until only bitter fluid remained. I vomited until tears streamed down uncontrollably. I had always believed that if I just kept quiet, we would be happy. But today, I was finally defeated by the weight of all the little details that had built up over time. 10 minutes later, I wiped my tears and the remnants around my mouth, preparing to return to the private room. Before I could push the door open, I heard the truth that had been buried for 7 years. Ethan, are you still planning to admit to her that you ruined her ability to paint? You really went all out for Jessica back then. If you're not planning to marry her, you might as well just tell the truth now. It won't cost you anything anyway. My heart stopped cold. I will marry her. After Jessica receives her award abroad, I'll propose to her. That's my promise. It's also my compensation. That way, I'll feel better. I leaned against the wall to keep myself upright. I knew there was a reason you suddenly started pursuing her back then. It was all part of a plan. I couldn't bear to listen any longer. I didn't even know how I managed to walk out the door, into the pouring rain. All I remember is that in that moment my heart ached more than my body. It turned out I had been living in a fairy tale of my own making. His pursuit of me, his kindness toward me, it was all just a means to pave the way for Jessica. So she could rise to the top by stepping on my flesh and blood. Chapter 4. My body was soaked by the rain when my phone suddenly rang. It was Ethan's voice on the other end. Laura, where did you go? I didn't see you in the bathroom. I held back my sobs. I don't feel well. I want to go home. Ethan sighed deeply. I already told you. Never mind. Go back if you want. I'll come accompany you after I finish sending Jessica home. Just be careful on your way back. I didn't say anything else and hung up the phone. At 3 in the morning, Ethan returned reeking of alcohol mixed with Jessica's perfume. 20 minutes before he came back, I had just finished looking at the photos Jessica had sent me. It was a photo of Ethan sleeping soundly on her shoulder. Ethan tiptoed onto the bed and hugged me from behind. I hated the rose scent on his body. I hated his clothes. And I hated him even more. Laura, is there anywhere else that hurts? I'm sorry for what happened today. Tomorrow I'll ask Auntie to give you a proper meal. Just stay home and take care of yourself these days, okay? His hands were cold, no warmth at all. At this point, I would usually turn around and hug him back. The sudden change left Ethan a bit unsettled. He remained silent for a long time. Laura, it's okay. Don't feel so guilty about the child. This illness isn't something we can control. Rest assured, I won't leave you alone. After I return to the country for the 7th anniversary, I'll make it up to you. I haven't told you yet, but Jessica's award ceremony is overseas and I'm a bit worried about her going alone, so I might have to accompany her overseas. Don't overthink it. My voice was hoarse and cold. Whatever you say. Ethan paused again. I used to be unable to tolerate Jessica's presence, and every time something like this happened, I would become wildly jealous and angry. But this time I was unusually calm. I'm doing this for the greater good. Don't be angry. It's only 3 days. After 3 days, we'll come back and live our lives in peace. At that time, I'll definitely give you the most unforgettable 7th anniversary. And next time you see Jessica, be friendly and behave yourself. Over the past 7 years, I had gradually become addicted to his tenderness, never realizing it was a bottomless pit. The next morning, Ethan was called away by a phone call from Jessica. He leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Baby, go to sleep. I'll be back." I didn't sleep. I stayed awake all night. "Ethan, I won't wait anymore." After he left, I got out of bed and slowly examined this place I had lived in for 7 years. It had taken 3 years to fill this home, but only 3 days to erase my presence from it. I picked up my phone and called my older brother abroad. "Brother, I don't want to stay here anymore. I'm coming to find you." He seemed to have anticipated this. I thought this ticket would go to waste. "Come back, everything's ready." I picked up my suitcase. I left behind the final piece of that matter on the table. It was the only trace of me left in that house. Ethan, who was overseas, thought I was just being stubborn after not replying for 3 days. "All right, Laura, don't be angry. I'm coming back soon. Just wait for me." I blocked his number, turned off my phone and threw it into the sewer. I didn't want to carry anything related to him anymore. Just as Ethan's plane landed, mine took off. We had come within 999 steps of each other, but I took that final step back. At that moment, Ethan, who had just landed, sent me a message. "Laura, I'm here. I booked a restaurant for tonight. Let's have dinner together." Chapter 5. Ethan sat in the driver's seat, glancing at the bouquet of red roses in the back. He smiled confidently. 10 minutes passed. Still no reply. He picked up his phone and started calling me. The only response was the automated message my phone had been turned off. Ethan set the phone down, his brows furrowed. "It's been 3 days already. Are you still upset?" He grabbed the roses and rushed into the house. The dark room was completely silent. He turned on the lights and suddenly noticed many things were missing. My clothes. Our photos. My old paintings. Ethan searched every corner of the house but couldn't find a single trace of me. Then his eyes landed on the pile of shredded paper on the living room table. With trembling hands, he began piecing them together, one by one. And when he realized it was our last little memento, only then did he begin to understand I had truly left. He kept murmuring, "Laura, didn't I tell you to wait for me? Why didn't you listen?" Frantically, Ethan started making calls, trying to track down where I had gone. And just then, I had arrived abroad. The moment I saw my brother, Liam, tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. "It's okay, as long as you're safe. It will pass." Liam gently pulled me into an embrace. After a while, my emotions gradually settled. Suddenly, a slightly arrogant voice came from behind. "After all these years, you're still such a crybaby." I wasn't surprised to see Andy Simon there. He had been like a brother to mine since childhood and later followed him abroad to start a business together. What surprised me was how much he had changed. He used to be so carefree. I never imagined he'd become successful in business. "After all these years, you're still so quick to rub salt in the wound." I wiped away my tears, trying to stay composed. "Enough, stop pretending. You just met the wrong person. Your judgment's always been bad. You only learn after hitting a wall, but hey, at least you're still teachable." Those few teasing words seemed to erase all the pain I had endured, as if I had never gone through it. It felt like I had returned to a time when Ethan didn't exist in my life. "Come on, let's go home." The two of them took me back to their place. It was a 3-story villa and my room was already waiting for me. "Laura, we saved your room during the renovation. The decor is just like how you used to have it. If you don't like it, we can change it. My nose stung and I shook my head. I wanted to say something, but the words caught in my throat. Liam gently patted my head, telling me I didn't need to say anything. Laura, it's good that you're back. After our parents passed away, Liam and I only had each other. Later, he went abroad to start a business to give me a better life. And I threw myself into Ethan's arms. Liam had tried many times to convince me to leave, but I refused, thinking I had found true love. Now, neither he nor Andy said a word about Ethan. They spent their days working and their free time taking me to art exhibitions and searching for renowned doctors to treat my injured wrist. Every night, I sat alone in the studio. Whenever I couldn't hold a brush, despair would wash over me like a tide. Ethan once said he loved watching me paint the most, that it was when he felt closest to the light. But he was the one who extinguished that light. The sound of footsteps behind me pulled me back to the present. Laura, what's truly terrifying isn't that you can't pick up a brush, it's that you've chosen to give up. You've always painted the beautiful things you see, the people, the landscapes. But do you know something? You're already in the painting yourself. Chapter 6. Andy's words struck a chord deep within me and tears began to fall silently. He didn't say anything else. He simply stood behind me and gently covered my eyes with his hands. He caught all my tears. He caught my quiet collapse. By the time Ethan received any news of me, a whole month had already passed. He received a set of photos from abroad. In those photos, I was standing in front of an art exhibition. I had worn a custom-made cocktail dress, something Liam had prepared just for me. That day, Liam and Andy were both busy with work, so I had come alone. I walked up to a painting. It was my final work, inspired by Ethan, and I had titled it Original Heart. Laura. Ethan's voice rang out loudly, drawing the attention of many around us. Startled, I turned at the sound of his sudden appearance. Laura, where have you been all this time? Do you have any idea how worried I was, searching everywhere for you? This tantrum of yours went too far. You can't do this again. As he spoke, he grabbed my wrist and began pulling me toward the exit. With so many eyes watching us, I couldn't say a word. I had no choice but to leave the exhibition with him. The moment we stepped outside, I yanked my hand free. Enough. What are you doing here? Ethan was stunned by my cold and unfamiliar tone. Laura, what's wrong? I came to take you home. Didn't we agree that after we finished that last thing, we'd get married? I've been ready all this time, but when I got back, I couldn't find you. I even ordered 999 red roses just for you. Aren't those your favorite? I laughed bitterly, my smile tinged with self-mockery. My favorite? Ethan, I'm allergic to pollen. I hate flowers. I hate red roses. And I hate you even more. We're over. There's no last thing left to finish. He looked embarrassed, yet still tried to take my hand again. Laura, why didn't you tell me you were allergic? I thought you liked them because you always waited until the flowers wilted before throwing them away. That's not my fault. Anyone would have misunderstood. I pulled my hand away. Yes, it's my fault. I kept clinging to our fragile love. I kept compromising, pretending not to see your lies. But now I understand I don't have to pretend anymore. I don't have to act like you still love me. He asked hesitantly, Laura, what do you know? I let out a long breath and raised my head, my voice ice cold. Does it even matter now? Only then did Ethan begin to realize that this wasn't just a tantrum anymore. He stepped forward, ready to explain further, but suddenly, someone behind him kicked him hard. My eyes were covered again and I recognized the familiar scent of Andy. In the distance, I heard the unmistakable sounds of fighting. How dare you bully my sister? After a long while, Andy finally released his hands from my eyes. Liam cracked his wrist and walked over to me. Behind him, Ethan lay on the ground, a dark bruise forming on his face. Laura, let's go home. I didn't even glance at Ethan anymore. In that moment, I knew. I no longer cared about him and I no longer had any expectations for him. Laura, I know you still love me. Please, don't leave. Hearing that, Liam nearly turned back to give him another beating, but I stopped him. Let's just go home. I wasn't going to let the people I cared about get hurt because of someone I didn't care about. In the days that followed, Ethan mostly stayed away, but Jessica began to stir up trouble. Dozens of news articles about me exploded across trending charts, both domestically and abroad. Chapter 7: Famous painter Laura cohabits with two unknown men. Laura, the painter with the most chaotic private life. The news outlets posted photos of Andy protecting me that day, along with images of my brother beating up Ethan. Some journalists also dug up older photos of me and Andy frequently attending art exhibitions together. Soon, rumors about my so-called chaotic private life began to spread like wildfire. Although these negative reports were quickly taken down by Andy and Liam, they still caused quite a stir. Reporters began camping out near the villa area and a swarm of online users started spreading false narratives about me. Even when I simply wanted to go for a walk, I could only do so under the cover of night. That evening, I stood by the river, wearing a hat and mask. I felt suffocated. Even after escaping, it was as if they were a black hole, constantly pulling me back into their vortex. Laura. Are you really with him? Ethan suddenly appeared, snatching off my hat and throwing it to the ground. With whom? Even if I am with someone, so what? He clenched his fists. He knew about Liam, but clearly, he had misunderstood my relationship with Andy. Is everything the media said true? Did you leave this time because of that man? Laura, did you provoke me on purpose because I went with Jessica to accept an award? I scoffed. Ethan, doesn't this all sound familiar to you? Isn't it just like the lies you used to tell me? Every time you went off to accompany Jessica, lying to my face I knew. Did you really think you were such a good actor? Ethan opened his mouth, but for once, he had nothing to say. Laura, he finally said, you should try to understand me. If Jessica hadn't donated her bone marrow, I might not have survived. Only then did I realize the reason why. After my bone marrow transplant and during my hospitalization, Ethan began acting so protective of Jessica. It turned out someone else had taken my place without my knowledge. So you never even tried to find out who really saved you, did you? My words left Ethan visibly confused. What do you mean? What do you mean by the real person who saved me? I forced a cold smile. Forget it. The truth doesn't matter anymore. I don't care about your lies and I don't care about the person you think saved your life. Ethan, I was outside the private room that day. His eyes turned red. He looked like he wanted to explain, but his words came out in a rush, incoherent. He reached out, trying to grab my hand. In the middle of our struggle, a fist suddenly landed on Ethan's face. It was the first time I had ever seen Andy this angry. Last time, you cried about being outnumbered and claimed we were bullying you. Now you have the nerve to show your face again? Ethan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, dazed and overwhelmed. He hadn't expected me to know the full truth and my words had clearly thrown him into turmoil. He fled in a panic. Andy was ready to chase after him, but I stopped him. Andy! Forget it. He returned quickly, still visibly upset. What? Do you feel bad for him just because I hit him? I clicked my tongue. I'm worried you'll get hurt. Andy fell silent. He stared at me as I gently raised his hand to check for injuries. Then, all at once, he pulled me into his arms. I'm not your real brother and I don't want to be your so-called brother. Can you stop treating me like one? After that day, the atmosphere between Andy and me became subtly ambiguous. In the following days, he and my brother filed lawsuits against many of the people who had spread false rumors. I also posted a childhood photo of the three of us to help clarify things. Chapter 8. At the same time, Ethan finally found the person who had donated bone marrow to him back then. Along with my medical records. It was all clearly documented. The surgery had affected my fertility. Ethan's hands trembled uncontrollably. He couldn't believe what he was reading. There was a knock at the hotel door. Jessica had come. "Ethan, ever since you left the country, no one's been there for me. So I came to find you. How about it? Aren't you happy?" Ethan looked at Jessica with a cold, distant gaze. "You should be the happiest one, shouldn't you? Why don't you tell me how you could so casually claim that you were the one who donated bone marrow to me?" Jessica froze. The smile slowly faded from her face. "Ethan, how could you?" Ethan let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "You used my past feelings and trust in you to deceive me? You used me to hurt Laura, stepping on her just to climb your way up. I realize now I don't even know who you are." Jessica avoided his eyes and began backing away. "Ethan, I only did this because I loved you so much. I wanted to become an artist like Laura, to stand proudly by your side. But she doesn't love you enough. I sent her so many photos and she just pretended not to see them. She doesn't care about you at all." Ethan's brows furrowed. "What photos? What did you send to Laura?" Jessica's eyes darted nervously. Ethan reached out and snatched the phone from her hand. As he scrolled through the screen, his expression turned stormy. "Who told you to provoke Laura? You were the one who exploited my sense of gratitude to manipulate me into staying with you. How could you be so malicious? Can't you stand seeing other people happy?" He threw the phone aside and stormed out of the hotel, racing straight to the villa. As he stepped out of the car, he happened to run into me. I had come for wrist rehabilitation. "Laura, I know everything now. I know everything. I'm sorry. It was my fault for being so foolish, so blind. Please forgive me just this once. I know you left me because you were angry. I promise it won't happen again. Look, I brought this." He pulled a slip of paper from his pocket. It was a reconciliation note. One of our old tricks we used to make these little promise scrolls for each other. "This is the one you made for me, right?" Ethan asked carefully. "Ethan," I replied, "just like you, those promises only held meaning when love was still alive. I don't love you anymore. We've already ended things. Every time I think about it. Every moment I thought we were in love." He was laying the foundation for Jessica. It made me sick. "No, that's not it, Laura. Please don't say that. There's nothing between me and Jessica. All those photos she sent were taken secretly. She was using my gratitude to manipulate me." I smiled. "Ethan, do you really think I care about Jessica's provocations? What I care about is that you've deceived me again and again. You used me to hurt me. Every single detail proves you never truly loved me." Ethan's eyes turned red, like a child caught doing something wrong. "Laura, please, give me one last chance. I promise there won't be a next time. I'll cut off all contact with Jessica." "But how could something that's already rotted ever become fresh again?" "Ethan, I don't want to say anything too harsh." He sneered, suddenly looking a bit unhinged. "In the end, did you fall for that pretty boy? Is that why you keep refusing to come back with me?" "Yes," I said calmly. "I fell for him. So please, stop bothering me." Chapter 9. Hearing that I didn't defend myself and admitted it so readily, Ethan felt a sharp pain in his chest. "You lied to me, Laura. After 7 years of love, how could you?" The next moment, a figure stepped out from the shadows. "Laura has been falling into the same pit for 7 years. But finally, his eyesight has improved." Andy's voice was lazy and the corners of his lips still held an uncontrollable smile. "Were you eavesdropping? Then, the words I just said were only meant to get by. You're a scoundrel, but you've done one good thing." Andy took my hand and arrogantly said this to Ethan. "Laura, don't be stubborn. I really know I was wrong. Come with me, okay?" Ethan looked flustered, especially after seeing Andy. "Ethan, from the moment I decided to leave you, I knew I wouldn't look back. After I left, I realized how easy life is without you. I also realized that I truly, don't love you anymore. Those 999 steps were like running into a brick wall, but now I've finally found my way out. Ethan looked crushed. He lowered his head, his heart aching as if it had been torn open. Watching Andy take my hand and lead me away, Ethan suddenly felt dazed. During those nights he spent with Jessica, was I hurting this much too? On the way back, Andy hummed a tune, holding my hand tightly, never letting go. "Where's Liam?" I asked. Andy clicked his tongue. "Busy with work. He specifically asked me to come find you. He was worried you might be in danger." I couldn't help smiling. "Then, does he know you're dating his sister?" Andy paused in his tracks. "Technically, the one who took the bait is the one being dated. It's his sister who's dating me." I lowered my head and chuckled. Suddenly, I realized I was beginning to care about him more and more. "That jerk, why is he still chasing after you? You're not going to soften up, are you?" Andy walked briskly, still holding my hand, asking casually. "Didn't you hear everything?" I bit my lip, my cheeks growing warm. It seemed that, around them, I was still that same girl full of love. "Isn't that just an excuse?" Andy turned around and leaned in close, so close I could almost hear his heartbeat. "You're usually pretty smart. Why are you being so slow now?" I teased him softly. Just as Andy was about to say something, I interrupted him. "My brother's waiting for me at home. I should go back first." I smiled and ran toward the villa. Behind me, Andy broke into a wide, indulgent smile, chasing after me in big strides. After Ethan returned to the country, he compiled a report detailing everything he and Jessica had done to me and released it to the media. The report clearly stated that they had conspired to cut off my career in painting. Some people said I was just a flash in the pan. Others claimed I had run out of inspiration. Some even said I had just gotten lucky. I never explained. I never got angry. The only time I truly felt crushed was when I realized the one who destroyed me was the person who had once loved me the most. After the news came out, Jessica's painting career was completely ruined. My brother didn't show up for several days because he had someone kidnap Jessica in UK. They disabled both of her hands. Shortly after, Ethan's company ran into a serious cash flow crisis and was on the verge of bankruptcy. At one point, Liam asked me if all of this was really the right thing to do. He was afraid I might not be able to bear it. But all I could think was he deserved it. He was only getting back what he had done to me. Over the next 2 months, I confirmed my relationship with Andy. Chapter 10. Liam didn't speak to Andy for 2 weeks because of this. On my birthday, Andy knelt down on one knee. "Laura, I don't want to take 999 steps just to make a mistake. We only need the successful outcome." He held a bouquet made of stuffed animals, glowing with light. Our wedding was set for 6 months later, and those 6 months were given to me to recover my wrist. After investing a lot of time and effort into rehabilitation, my wrist could now hold a paintbrush normally, though I still couldn't paint for too long each day. But this was already the best outcome I could have hoped for. The day before the wedding, I received a package. Inside was a single notebook. It contained the 999 little things we had done together, and the last one had been added by Ethan. The happiness volume. I closed the notebook and casually tossed it into the trash. I would never again indulge in unhealthy love. According to Andy, Ethan's company went bankrupt. His old illness returned and he was now abandoned in the hospital, just waiting to die. As for Jessica, after her hands were disabled, she was abandoned in the mountains to become the wife of an old bachelor. 5 years later, Andy and I decided to adopt a child. He said he didn't want to pressure me to have children. To him, I was simply me, his unrestricted deity, free to do whatever I wanted. My artwork won an award again after more than a decade. This time, the painting was based on Andy and Liam. It was titled God. I stood on the award stage, looking down at Liam and Andy, both clapping while holding their young daughter. At that moment, I felt incredibly happy.